Hello and welcome back to Gayming Podcast Live. I'm your host, Mia, and we're here every 2 weeks to talk gaming stories, news, and gossip with your favorite content creators. Don't forget, you can keep up with all the latest news and features from Gaming Magazine by visiting us online at gaymingmag.com. But I cannot do this alone. So every week, every podcast, I will be joined by an awesome guest host. And today is the wonderful Chad Callahan. Woo!
Woo! All the claps, all the I don't know how to do that kind of noise.
Yeah. I did actually have it on a button for one of the podcasts, but the last time I did it, my microphone just completely broke.
We decided to die.
Yeah, we regularly have tech issues on the Gaming Mag podcast, and now that it's been handed over to me, it seems that tradition has continued. It's actually infected a different show on the channel instead of this one mostly. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that anymore.
Honestly, I find tech issues one of the funnier parts of podcasting and just streaming in general. Like I've found myself being that person who finds that streamer who's just having the worst tech issues ever, and I'm looking on Twitter and all these different Reddit forums about how to fix their audio. It's just I don't know. I like that. I hate that for them, but I like to figure out why things aren't working.
Yeah, I have so many issues with tech stuff though, just in general. I think the worst of it is whenever I have a specific tech issue and I Google it, there'll be a Reddit thread or a forum thread or something like that with the exact tech issue that I'm having, which was just probably from 6 months ago or a year ago. And then the original poster comes back and says, yeah, I figured out what the problem was. And no need for the help anymore. And they don't put
information.
They just don't put it in. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. But how are you today anyway?
I'm doing good. We just had brunch a couple hours ago, so I'm coming off of a nap because I went a little too hard at brunch, but it's had a good Sunday fun day. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Had a nice relaxing day today, and I cooked. I got a new Corsori air fryer. It was one of my late birthday presents that the community got me. So I've been just testing out different things in it, and I made some potatoes, some little potato cubes or something like fried up with the air fryer. So that was they were delicious. They were great, very great. I'm not the best cook in the world.
Well, you're gonna turn into one with an air fryer. I found out you can boil eggs in an air fryer.
I did not know that. I'll have to give that a try. That's gonna be awful, I imagine, for me. I will mess it up in some way. I am a terrible, terrible cook.
I haven't done it, but so if you burn down anything, don't have it traced back to me. On your own risk, at your own risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
right.
Cool.
Just as a quick reminder, for those of you joining us here live, you can interact with the podcast both here in Twitch chat and in a special dedicated section over in the Gaming Magazine Discord. So go and check that out. Now, our special guest this week is none other than one of gaming's rising star nominees, the fantastic Codergirlchan, also known as Chanel. Hello!
Hi! What's going on? I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. That's fantastic day so far. Yes. I've been cooking. What have you been up to?
I've just been hanging out today. I do this fun thing lately where I've been doing little coffee chats, 15-minute coffee chats with people who want to get into tech. So I've been doing a lot of those. They ask me a lot of questions about being a coder because I work as a full-time web developer. So they just ask me questions about coding and being a POC in tech and a woman. So I've been doing that a lot in the morning after walking my dog and everything. So I've just been hanging out and enjoying the nice weather that we're finally getting.
That's awesome. And you're up in Canada, I understand.
I am. I'm in Ontario, Canada. Yep.
So is the weather generally good this time of year? We're talking about the weather. I don't know why I'm asking about the weather, but
let's talk more about the weather.
Way hard into it already.
The Gaming Night podcast. We ask the hard questions. What's the
I
weather
wasn't
like?
ready. I didn't
Mhm.
prepare. Yeah, yeah. Usually, like end of this time, we're going through the melt. We probably will get one more snowfall, which I'll be so disheartened when I see. But it's kind of nice around. It's that springy kind of weather,
Mm,
kind of wet,
mm.
but I mean, I'll take it.
I honestly love this time of year. I think
Yeah,
just like I think it's gonna be a few weeks or so, but it's starting to get a little bit sunny here now. The nights are still cold, but
yeah.
it's peak like starting to go out and start walking again hours. So that's
That's
gonna be
about here too.
a lot of fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I'm just ready to get out of the house at this point.
Yeah, same,
Like,
Mm,
same.
like
yeah.
just sitting in these rooms all day and like winter just mean mugging the snow. I'm done. I'm ready to go outside and like
Mhm.
look the sun in the eyes and get some vitamin D.
Live your
Yeah.
best vitamin D life.
Yes,
I get it.
please. That's all I want.
I used to love winter because like I was born in February, so as a kid, like my favorite time of the year was just winter because
Almost my
you get to
birthday.
Yeah.
yeah. Like you get to go out in like the cold weather or snuggle in or just like if well back then it used to snow where I am. It doesn't anymore. But but like go out in the snow, do all these cool things and not have to worry about anything. Maybe you get a snow day and you don't have to go to school. Now it's
Exactly.
the opposite. Now I have to pay bills. It's like especially with the electricity bills the way they are at the moment. Yeah, it's like gosh, okay, yeah, I prefer the summer because like now
Yeah.
I can actually gotta enjoy myself and I'm not freezing to death all the time. So yeah, kid me
Fair.
was totally wrong. Totally
I
wrong.
as a kid, you don't feel the cold either as much. I feel like now, like I was
Yeah.
literally
Now that I'm
outside
old, it
today.
just goes straight through me, these
My
old
brittle
bones of mine.
bones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm just against like socks in general, which are the things that keep the heat in you. So like I'm just
Mm.
cold at all times, which is my fault. My
Yeah.
own
It's
fault.
weird. It's so
Mhm.
weird because like I find that if it is cold, like normally like you can wear like a full outfit, but if your
Yeah.
feet are bare,
Yeah,
you
you're
feel
messed up.
cold.
Yeah,
You're just
you're messed
cold.
up.
It doesn't make any
100%.
sense. But yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen a lot of streamers recently using foot warmer kind of I don't know what they're called, like just kind
Not
of like they're
warmers.
like
What?
raised up like foot warmers where you put your feet in them, and I want them. I want it so
That
bad.
Oh,
sounds
yes.
amazing,
I need
and I
it.
Yeah.
want it. Yes,
Yeah.
I
please.
mean,
Give me
I'll
those
send you
foot warmers.
Amazon
I was
links.
gonna say, send us some links.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Now, as always, we kick off with the weekly recap, including all the games that we've been playing recently. So usually I start, but I'm going to kick it over to Chad this week. What have you been up? What have you been up to recently? What games have you been playing? What have you been watching?
Okay, I've been getting myself into some Minecraft again. I mean, I play a lot of Minecraft,
Oh,
but
Nice.
funny
mm.
enough, I've never done the creative side of Minecraft, and I think I've opened up something in me because I have been building like mad. Like I've lost sleep over the thoughts of things of building in the game. I don't know why
Mm.
my just love of the game came back just by opening
Mm-hmm.
up to the creative side. And it's funny because I was talking to a friend today actually about it, and I was like, man, I feel like all these like kids game where they have all this stuff with the frogs and they don't want kids to think that they should eat fireflies in the game, so they took that out of the next chapter. And then he
Wait,
looked at me,
what?
he's like,
Did you used to be able to eat fireflies in Minecraft or
they
something?
were
Or
going to, but they
oh,
thought
okay.
because they shouldn't now.
Yeah, let's not.
Mm.
Because I don't think it's actually healthy for frogs to actually do that in real life, so they didn't want to put that out there.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
And he looked at
interesting.
me and said, "I don't think kids play the game as much as you think they do. I think it's like people late 20s and early, to 50s is like the actual
Mm.
demo that plays Minecraft." And I'm like, you know what?
Right.
100% correct.
Mhm.
It's not
Mhm.
kids like they might. I mean, obviously kids play Minecraft, but it's more so like older adults playing Minecraft, which is hilarious.
It's
Mhm.
relaxing.
It really is,
Mhm.
honestly. So that's been most of my gaming lately. That and a little Elden Ring on top of
Oh.
that. So,
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring as well recently.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have. Let's
Yeah. We'll rest on the Elden Ring talk
yeah.
just for a little bit because we do have a news story coming up later which concerns Elden Ring. So we'll get into the Elden Ring conversation then. Is that everything that you've been up to recently?
Gaming wise, yeah, it's been really chill. Like the nice thing about like we have another I have a podcast, the First 30 podcast, where
Mm.
we dabble into different games for the first 30 minutes. And so like that actually breaks me out of my comfort zone of games. So we did Elden Ring, and we did Martha is Dead, which is another interesting
I've seen that a
game that just
lot.
came out.
I've heard that's
Mhm.
supposed to be good. Yeah.
It's I thought it was going to be much more out there, as far as moving around, but it's very dark. It's very I'm trying to think of those story based kind of games where you have to kind of choose like what's going to happen to all the characters, which I do
Mhm.
like that.
Oh, you mean like the supermassive? Is it supermassive? Something like that. The supermassive games like Until Dawn and that
Yes,
kind of
yes, yes,
thing.
yes,
Kind of. Yeah.
exactly. So it's like a lot like Until Dawn, but it's brutal. And I'm gonna spoil one part. It's because early in, there's a part where you literally take a key. No, it's a locket, and you carve your sister's face off in her dream. It's a dream. It's a fever dream.
Okay. Okay. It's a fever
You
dream. Got it.
because you carve your
Oh,
sister's face off, and you put it on your own because like she's having nightmares of stealing her sister's identity.
got it.
It's
Hmm.
was one of the most
Okay.
intense moments I've ever had in a game. So it really was a pivotal moment for like
Yeah.
when we were watching it.
That sounds horrifying. What is the plot there, if you
Yeah.
don't mind me asking?
Help.
Because
So the plot is that there's two twins girls, and they are in World War II era Italy.
Mm.
So she's fiddling with the camera, she sees a body in the lake, and as she gets closer, she realizes it's her sister. And so
Oh.
as she pulls out her sister, and she, they must not have the best relationship. They might have been a little bit distant because she's not as like upset as she should be, which is interesting. So she pulls her out of the lake, and her parents come up, and they confuse her for her sister. So
Were they
they're
twins or?
twins. Yes.
Okay, they're twins. All right. Okay. Cool.
So the mother actually preferred the now dead twin. So she pretends to be the dead twin just to make her mother happier and make it seem like, but now she's living her sister's life because now she can't, she's in too deep now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like now she's got this weird feeling of she's stealing her sister's identity, which was a very mind messing situation. So,
Interesting.
but
Mhm.
now there's kind of
Mhm.
like, well, what happened to my sister? What really happened? And so it goes from there. We only got 30 minutes in. If you want to listen to the rest, you could go to the podcast. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds messed up, and
Yeah.
it's actually intriguing. I kind of want to like give
I'm
that a go
intrigued.
now.
Now I
Yeah.
wanna
I would
play
say
it.
I'd say it's worth a play if you like Until Dawn. It's definitely like it was intense. If I don't know, ripping off the face was the ooh, like you literally struggled to do it like and you're watching it, and it's very slow. It's intense.
Mhm.
So,
Well, it's funny
but
you mentioned that actually, because we've actually been playing through House of Ashes with another
yeah.
Rising Star nominee, Luke Boogie over
Luke,
this
yeah.
channel over at Let's Go Gaming, that show, and that's been a whole heck of fun, and we're actually going to be continuing that this week coming, so that's
Very nice.
epic. I loved like the Dark Pictures anthology, all of those games. Like I absolutely love them. I did never play the Man of Medan, the boat one. But
That one got real bad reviews. I didn't play it myself, but
mm,
I don't think that
they've
one
been a
took off
bit
quite as much.
they've been a bit hit or miss. There was Little Hope as well, which
Yeah.
that was such a good game up until the ending, and then it was just like I like what you were trying to do there, but it was like one of those like twist endings, and it just so much less captivating than the ideas, the theories that I'd come up with in my own head about what it could
What
be
should be
happening. So
happening. Yeah.
yeah. So I was a little bummed out about that one. I did see the new one from that studio, which I think I don't know if 2K is publishing it or somebody else instead
Oh yeah,
of
2K.
yeah. I can't remember what it's called.
The
It's
Quarry?
yeah, The Quarry. It looks awesome. It
Uh,
looks much more like Until Dawn than the Dark Pictures anthology series. So
There's so
I'm
many
looking
big
forward to
names
that.
in that too. Like David Arquette is in that, and
Oh
like
my.
in the list of others. Like I can't remember them off the top of my head, but like it's insane. So like I'm excited because David Arquette, obviously, Scream. It's kind of cool to see him in another
I
as
love
an
it.
older character too.
More of a mentor type,
Right.
kind of, yeah, guy in
Yes.
charge type role. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. That'll be a lot of fun. Chanel, what
Yeah.
have you been up to recently?
Yeah, for sure. So I just finished. I've been really into indie games lately.
Mhm.
So I just finished recently on stream Spiritfarer. If any of you
Oh,
have played that
okay.
one.
I've
So
heard of
I
it.
think I've heard of that one. Is that
yeah.
the 2D one,
Yeah,
or
it's
am I thinking?
2D. It's really pretty art style.
Mhm.
Basically, the premise is, without spoiling it, is you play Stella, who's the main character. You become a farer of spirits, so you're like the ferry driver
Mhm.
of people's spirits, and basically you are just going around on a boat collecting spirits and helping them kind of resolve some issues that they had throughout their life. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's like really pretty. You know, you're gathering resources, you're growing food, you're going to different cities and stuff, exploring things. So it's really fun. Had really little these little mini games. It didn't take too long. I think it was like maybe 30 hours, something like that.
Mhm.
But it's a tearjerker. Like when people are resolving, you know, moving on, it's so much to deal with. It's just like a lot, like especially if you can like relate to certain characters, because they're all of different ages and stuff. So you know, it's really cute. So we finished that one, and then I've been playing this game off stream before bed. I'm trying to play more games off stream. I've been really bad with
Mhm.
not just playing games on my own. But
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so bad at it, but I've been playing Unpacking.
Oh, I've seen that. That's
A
Yeah.
lot of
the
people have been playing
Humble
that.
published game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I bought it for my Switch so I could just play it in
Mhm.
bed because I don't have a stream or sorry, Steam Deck. But I have a Switch still. So I bought Unpacking, and I've been playing it before bed, and you're basically just like unpacking and like putting things away, but the sound design is like really nice. So it's like
Mm.
almost like this like ASMR kind of like great for your ears, because you're just like the clicking of like things and shelving things and everything like that is just like really nice, and it has like a
Mhm.
little bit of a story along the way. So the character you're unpacking things for, you're like going through their life.
Oh,
So
really? There's
yeah,
actually a
like
story to it. Okay.
yeah, there's like a little, it's like they take a picture and then they're just like, you know, telling little stories here and there, but not much dialogue. Like there's no dialogue. It's just like words, and you're putting stuff away. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I've been playing that. I've been playing that a lot. So those are my
Heck
most
yeah.
recent games. Yeah.
I like indie games in general, like some of my favorite experiences. I feel like they're definitely they definitely feel much more like art than
Yeah.
say like your big triple A titles. Like the I find them so much more appealing. I can't remember the last like indie game that I really dived into,
Yeah.
except for I guess is Hades indie. I don't know. That was a while back now, but like
I
I
feel
went
like it
hard
would.
It might have
on that.
started out as indie. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember if it was who published it, but
I know the studio is like self I think it's self-published. I can't
Right.
remember. I think it's Supergiant maybe. I always get them
yep,
confused with
Supergiant.
Supermassive. Yeah. But yeah, I think they're an independent studio, but like all those like smaller experiences are so much more meaningful to me. I remember
Yeah,
them more so than other games that
absolutely.
I generally play. So, yeah. Right, as for me, I've mostly been playing Elden Ring.
There it
Big
is.
shot.
Yeah, no, literally. It's just like Stranger of Paradise came out. I still haven't given that a go yet. Square Enix sent me a code, thank you. And something else came out. Oh yeah, the new Mario Kart tracks. I haven't given those a go yet. I was supposed to.
Oh, I'm playing those tonight after this.
Yeah, that should be fun. Something similar
Mhm.
that did play though that did come out was Chocobo GP. That's Square Enix. Like I'm not sure
Did
if
it come
you'll play
out?
fun. It came out. It came out. See,
Oh,
that's kind of like yeah, it came out.
I was excited
Um,
for that because like it looks so cute.
it is. It's really cute. It's really it's great. It's cute aesthetically. It's awesome. It's got a lot of Final Fantasy references, so I love it to death.
love it. Yeah.
The handling of the actual carts themselves and how the game actually
Oh,
plays is a bit more of a fundamental problem with the game.
Oh
Like
no.
it's okay, but it doesn't really like if you're going to compare it to something like Mario Kart 8, it's not quite the same quality. And when you're trying to turn around a corner, the cornering is like super tight. So you'll
Yeah.
start like even the drifting, you'll start like going into um into the drift really tightly. And it
oh.
just doesn't feel quite as good as Mario Kart. And when I'm playing it, I'm just like my brain is putting me in Mario Kart mode and it's just not working. So it's not bad. It's just different. I don't think it's quite up
You're
to the
not
same
mad
level.
at it. You're just disappointed.
Yeah,
There it
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a cash shop and like a battle pass and all of this stuff too. You can like earn characters. Cloud's in the game, but you have to like get the battle pass in order to get Cloud. And it's like, I just want a full game. Even if it was a separate DLC, I don't understand why every game needs to have a battle pass or be live service.
I don't mind a
It's
battle pass
disappointing.
idea, but I think you need to establish the game first.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, even before Fortnite started doing the battle pass system, which is really where everyone started, taking the idea, it didn't have it to begin with. It was just base game. People came in, they had, some pay to, get some of the cosmetics, but it was whatever, and it was small. And then they introduced the battle pass after it had success. Now people are coming out of the gate with battle pass, and I think that's the biggest mistake that these developers are making and these companies are making with that. It's because like, why am I going to pay battle pass for a game that I don't know is going to exist in 2-3 months if the game's a dud?
You pay for the battle pass. You have to pay for this battle pass as well.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have the paid version of the game, because it's actually, and this is why it's really annoying. There's two versions of the game. There is a light version of the game, which you can just play, and then there is the paid version of the game. I'm not sure what the differences are, but I'm assuming that the light version just doesn't come with any of the extra unlockables in the full version of the game. And like Square Enix sent me this game, so I can't be like too hard on it because I have a very, very good relationship with Square Enix. Like they send me most of the new releases, but actually no, Square Enix didn't send it to me. Nintendo
there you
sent
go.
it to
Talk
me.
crap about it now.
I'm gonna talk crap about the game. Listen, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Square Enix in general, as a publisher, seems to be doing this a lot recently, where they're like pushing these extra revenue streams into their titles. Babylon's Fall came out a couple of weeks ago, just after Elden Ring, possibly the worst time to release that game as well.
Oh no!
Which I was excited for. Now that you mention it, I heard nothing of Babylon Fall at all.
It's Platinum Games. Platinum Games is solid. They do solid. Well, 50% of the time they do solid work, depending on the team over at Platinum Games. But like, I love Platinum Games. Like a lot of the stuff that they put out, Yobeo. I actually can't remember any other Platinum Games, but I love a lot of what Platinum Games puts out. Oh, Nier, stuff like that. Nier, Automata, that kind of thing. They're great. They're great. But this game and the gameplay is okay in Babylon's Fall, but it's falling to the same curse. You get in there, there is a cash shop, there's like a battle pass in there as well, which for some games, which you would think would be more narratively driven, it doesn't make a lot of sense for them to be there. Like they're trying to push live service into every single title now, it seems, and it just gets a little bit much personally for me.
I think it's okay if it's like you can earn the battle pass. So like I've been playing a lot of Knockout City lately, and Knockout City has
the dodgeball one.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
So
Dylan loves that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Knockout City. But basically, you have a battle pass that you do for every season, but you can either like everything's in Holobucks, I guess. So you can pay to get more Holobucks so you unlock it, or you can just like save up 900. And then which you can get from like playing more or doing watching streamers and getting drops and stuff. Their drops are constant. And then you can unlock it that way just by playing a lot or doing drops. And then it keeps up your progress. So if you're like, you're just saving up for it and you're at level 25 of the battle pass, as soon as you have enough money and you buy it, you get all the items that came with the battle pass. So I think that's a good way of doing it, because some people might be like, I just want to pay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the encouragement to that of making them go to streamers and watching streamers who are playing it. I think that's a very cool mechanic that I wish more games would honestly do. Like, I mean, I hear about drops, but like I never see the hype unless it's like a game that's super huge. But I do like that like, they're building a small community, that they encourage people to go to other, streams. Like Dead by Daylight is like, they don't do the drops necessarily, but they have a really nice community, and they like to give to their community, and they are actively looking and listening to their community, despite what some people may say. They do listen. But yeah, I just love hearing things like that. So I didn't know about that with Knockout City.
I've been to like so many like a couple of my friends are actually like on the creator team and stuff. So I'll visit them, watch them, and then I'll get a drop. It's constant too, which is great because some drops they'll just turn them on and off depending. But these are every time you go to a Knockout City partner streamer, they always have drops. So I can always just like watch them and interact and things like that. So it's really great.
Yeah, I love any kind of game that actually supports its streamers,
Yeah,
that drops
exactly.
programs. Like it's some of the best times that I've had, and like the best people that I've met have come in through those programs. It's such a
Yeah.
great way of just getting your game out there. Just in terms of marketing, it's absolutely fantastic.
Exactly.
Other than the games that I've been playing, which mostly has been Elden Ring, I did take some time as soon as it came out to watch Turning Red, which is the new
Oh,
new
Yes.
Pixar
I watched
film.
it too.
Me too.
It's so lovely.
It's I loved it. Honestly, I loved it. Now I did cancel my Disney Plus sub just because of other things that are happening in the news with Disney right now. But I made sure that I was going to watch this before it came out. Well, after it came out, sorry. And it's great. It's a little bit nostalgic as well, just because it's set in the early 2000s, which really surprised me because I didn't see much about this film before it came out.
Same.
Apparently, got a massive marketing push, but yeah, I had no idea what it was about other than it's Pixar and they've been a bit hit or miss like recently. But I was going to give it a go because it just looked cool. And it's I can't remember the director's name, but it's her first time directing a feature film, and I believe she also worked on the shorts with the bow buns.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of that.
I think it's
either.
literally called Bow.
I think it's
Yeah,
Bow,
Bow. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But she's a first-time director, and I was really, really impressed. And the fact that it was set in 2002, the fact that the main character was born was 13 then, which was the exact same age I was back in 2002. Obviously, we had very different experiences growing up, but it's just hit me right in the nostalgia, and I just loved the story so much.
There was one part. There's one part of that movie that actually shocked me, and I said this on my stream the other day actually, and it shouldn't have shocked me, but they openly talk about pads, and they didn't say the word tampons, but they openly show pads and have aspirin, and they're like talking about the situation.
They just talk about periods, and it's fine. And
they didn't even say the word period, but you knew
exactly what was going on.
And like she shows the pad, and she's like waving it at the school, making her daughter embarrassed. I was like very impressed with that moment that they allowed that to go through, it being Disney and all, because I don't know, I've heard rumors about how Luca was supposed to be a little bit more gay than it was. I got the gay undertones even without it being told to me, so I'll take it, whatever. Adorable movie, but so I was really proud to see that, like, in a Pixar movie, to see that kind of representation like in there, because I'm sure that many girls would really need to see that sometimes,
honestly. And I have a bit of a closer connection, I guess, because it's made in Ontario or in Toronto.
Yes. How true to the area was it?
Exactly, pretty much. So like she lives in Chinatown, which is like on Spadina Street, and they had like there's like an arch or whatever, or a sign, I guess. So I've seen that many times because I used to work in the area at one point. And then they had the concert at the Sky Dome, which it's huge. It's like a big part of downtown Toronto, and I'm a baseball fan, so I love the Sky Dome. It's called something else now, but I still call it the Sky Dome. I don't really care. But, and then also I was around the same age. So 2002, I would have been 12. So pretty close. So yeah, like seeing like their hormonal changes and just seeing like all these like things happening to them, and them like going through crushes and all, like just being like boy crazy or girl crazy or whatever. It was just me, at the time in like the city that was like really close to me that I would see all the time. And it was really sad because there were some reviews and stuff that were like, I can't relate to this.
It's not your movie. Stop watching it.
I'm like, I don't give a F if you can relate to it. There are many people who can relate. Like, there's, many times people have watched a movie or a cartoon and they haven't been able to relate to the main characters. Like, if you watch a lot of the Disney princess movies, like, no one's like a white female or whatever, but they're watching it and picking little parts to relate to it, or they're just enjoying
Right.
it for the sake of enjoying it or seeing someone else's
Mhm.
experience, right?
Mhm.
So when that review came out, it was like, okay, just because you're not from this city and you weren't a kid in that era and you're not a teenage girl doesn't mean you can't just enjoy what's
Yeah.
going on. And the soundtrack is a bop. Like, it's so
Yes.
Absolutely.
good.
Yes, that was one of the things, like, as soon as it started, like, I was, like, tearing up a little. I don't wanna say
Yeah.
it, but I was, like, tearing up a little bit. I'm like, "Oh my god, this
It's
soundtrack
good.
The
is
song,
so good." It's like 20 for me, it's like this is the exact kind of
So
music I
boy band.
listened to in, like, 2016 as well.
actually, the boy
Um
band song was made partially by Billie Eilish.
Yes,
I
yeah,
saw that.
What?
actually.
Yes, it blew
I
Mhm,
my
didn't
mind when I
know
saw
that.
that at the very end.
mhm.
She's
It
so
says,
talented. I
I
swear to
love her.
God.
And like, she's so
Absolutely.
young. Stop being so great and young all
Some
at the
people are
same
just so
time.
good. And then the
Well,
singer was Jordan Fisher, right? Is that
I think
who?
so. I'd have to look
I
up.
think so.
I
I don't
think so,
know.
yeah.
He
I
was
think
like
they,
Evan
co-wrote on
Hansen.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
it was so good. Like, the whole boy band, like, over the top outfit and everything like that. And the
Mhm.
Tamagotchis in it.
Yes.
I had to hide my Tamagotchi because they were banned from school because we got too distracted,
Oh.
like
Mm.
things like that. It was just I could
Yeah.
I could relate in many ways, so I
It
don't really
it
care
it
about
was
the critics.
pure millennial nostalgia,
Oh, 100%.
for a
It
lot of
really
us, I can
was.
imagine.
And
Yeah,
Sandra
And
yeah.
Oh was in it. Like, how much
Mhm,
more, like, growing up on Grey's Anatomy in high school and stuff, you have Sandra Oh, like, our
mhm.
Canadian queen in there too. So it was amazing.
It's just
representation for Asian American or
Exactly.
Asian people in general, because obviously Toronto is
Yes.
not even American.
mhm.
I mean, I guess so. Like, it's just like
And
crazy to see it like
honestly,
that.
like seeing character designs for like Asian people in general that aren't just one set way, how
Yes.
people
Yeah,
are usually represented. Like when the aunts come in and
Yeah.
like they all have different
it's
designs,
so
it's like, oh
crazy.
my god, it's so cute,
And
you
their
know?
pendants are
Um,
all different and stuff too for the
mhm,
whatever. I don't wanna
mhm.
spoil it too much, but it was like everyone had a different one, which was kinda cool.
I've just come to the realization that we haven't actually explained the plot to the
Oh!
movie at all.
Hey,
So, essentially, it is about this 13-year-old character called May who lives in Toronto, Canada, isn't it? Yeah. It's Toronto,
yes,
isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
Toronto.
yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And basically is going through her formative years. She's just going into puberty. In fact, you could see this whole film as like an allegory for puberty, pretty much. But she finds that as she gets too emotional sometimes, she gets to a point where she just starts turning into this giant red panda, and hijinks pretty much ensue from that. I actually was really surprised. I don't want to spoil anything, so that's where I'm going to leave it there. But it's absolutely great. I was really surprised about like the level of like smut.
Yeah.
I say level of smut, but like it's hardly anything.
Or
But the fact that
drawings.
yeah, the drawings.
Yeah,
There's
the
a scene where she's
drawing.
like drawing in her notebook, and she's just drawing herself with this boy, and the boy's a mermaid as well. It's super weird, but it's so cute, and I'm like, wow, Disney are actually like allowing this in their
Outside this
movie. This is great,
box?
you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like it's everything that I want to see in movies, like generally for kids to like have, we can talk, have an open discussion, and generally have an open discussion and talk about more sensitive topics without people screaming their heads off and saying it's like inappropriate or like treating it with quote unquote kid gloves. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see that kind of content, especially when I think it's also like a story told from the director's kind of personal experiences as
She's
well.
Yeah.
Canadian
Like,
as well. I think she's
mm,
from
mm,
Toronto, and I think
yeah,
Bao was also based in Toronto as
mhm,
well. So it was nice that
yeah,
she got to tie a whole movie into her experience too. So that's
yeah.
cool.
It's
Highly
amazing.
recommended, I would
Yes.
say. Yeah, definitely. Right then, it's time for a section we like to call bite-sized news. It used to be called Miabyte-sized news when Robin was running the show, but I've kind of like I'm gonna pull that away a little bit there. It just seems so self-aggrandizing. So this is where we go over everything gaming in the news recently. So, Chad, I know there was something that you looked into recently.
Sure, yeah, there's the Humble Bundle launches
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine bundle with 100% of the proceeds going to charity, which there is a lot in there. I don't know if you've seen, but there's like the whole Back for Blood in there. There are, hold on, I gotta look because it's crazy. Satisfactory, Metro Exodus, and the list goes on. And it's
Mm-hmm.
$40 to just own these games, which one of these games alone is like 60.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what I'm looking at right now, it's over almost $9 million raised for charity and counting.
That's
So,
crazy.
and you can
That's
set your
absolutely
own price
fantastic.
too. So I like
Mm-hmm.
that a lot. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, well, when I found out about this, I actually went out and I bought it because there's so many good games
Yeah,
on that
Spiro's in there
list.
too, I think. The Spyro, sorry, I always say
Spyro.
Yeah,
Spyro.
Spyro the Dragon,
Spyro's
the
in there,
entire
the
trilogy,
trilogy,
the
which is
remakes.
insane.
That's
Yeah, I'll probably
great.
grab it.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
definitely worth
honestly,
grabbing. I think the proceeds from the bundle are going towards raising for Ukraine, which is sending over medical supplies to people in Ukraine at the moment. There is direct relief, of course, which are providing doctors and nurses. It's also going out to the international rescue community, which is just a humanitarian organization, which is going to put boots on the ground in basically as close to Ukraine as possible and working to get vulnerable people and families out of Ukraine and give them, the health and protection assistance that they need. And there's also the international medical corps who are being helped out by this too, which are just generally giving life-saving healthcare and supplies to everyone affected who have lost so much during this current conflict. So absolutely fantastic cause, and definitely go over and support it. I'm very, very excited just to get to grips with all these different video games as well. Like I
So
never
many.
had the chance to play Sunset Overdrive, and that's in
it's
there
good.
too.
It's
Or
a
like
good game.
Quantum Break or any number of these games, or even This War of Mine. There are so many good games in there. Like usually you look at bundles and you think, well, there's a couple hit or miss, like there's a couple titles maybe I want to play. This particular bundle, I imagine, just has so many games in there, and
there's
I
books
believe,
too. I think you get some
Yeah.
graphic novels and stuff in there as
yeah,
well.
yeah. There's like so much in there. I believe you even get like RPG Maker, the most recent version of that too.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and to think that all of the proceeds are going to charity, and how many people have come together to make this possible.
It's just so much
Fantastic.
money because, like, I know a lot of
Mhm.
streamers are trying to help by doing charity streams and stuff. But if you don't stream or you just want to help in some way, you can do it this way, and you get so many good games. I think that's so awesome, the list of games they got, because it just gives a higher incentive for people to just put money in. And obviously, it's working if it's around $9 million that they're at already. So
Yeah.
it's so awesome.
It's absolutely fantastic. Now, speaking of Humble Bundle, it's weird because we have a bunch of stories today that are Humble Bundle related. We're not being sponsored by them or anything like that. Just
They're
put it
good
out
people.
there. Yeah. They're it's just a good organization. I believe they also own IGN, which is interesting now. And I know there's a whole thing with back in, I think it was a couple of years back now, they changed the charity based. No, IGN now owns them, sorry. And then they changed the charity based thing. So there's less charity stuff happening. So it's nice to see another bundle where all the proceeds are going directly to charity, and you can actually decide. Well, you don't have to decide because it's just all going. They also had their Humble Game Showcase roundup, and we had a few very cool games announced. Actually, I can't remember when it was, but it was very recent anyway. I think it was the other day. But they announced a bunch of fantastic games. Well, I'm assuming they're going to be fantastic because some of them are sequels to games that I've very much enjoyed. We had Monaco 2 coming out, the sequel to What's Yours Is Mine. Coral Island, which is like a farming game. It's you protect the reefs on Coral Island. It's like a 3D life sim. Looks a little bit like what's the game? The pixel game, the farming Stardew Valley.
Oh, Stardew.
Looks a little bit like a
that's my
3D
jam.
version of Stardew Valley. Yeah. There's something called Moon Scars coming out, which is a bloody new 2D side-scrolling hack and slash adventure. Looks very cool. The character designs in that I like very much. There's Moon Scars, which is another. Sorry, I just said Moon Scars. Sorry, Ghost Song, which is a melancholy 2D Metroidvania. And as soon as I saw the trailer for it, I was like, I've got to play this game. I love me some Metroidvania games. Other than that, we got Signalis, which is a survival horror sci-fi game, very pixelated, very cool looking. Infinite Guitars, which you play as a touring band to fight your way through an open world, combining rhythm mechanics and combat. That looked very, very
Oh
cool.
my god, yes.
Chinatown Detective Agency. That's a game set in Singapore, and you explore the criminal underworld. You have the Iron Oath, which is a spiritual successor to Heroes of Might and Magic. So there's a bunch there to sink your teeth into. Also, was there anything there on the list that you all were looking forward to at all?
A lot of them are I've just heard of. So I mean, I'm excited now just in general to like kind of look at this because I don't think I've seen this humble showcase yet. So I'm gonna go back and look
Yeah, I
for that.
completely missed it at the time, but yeah, we had I know there's an article wrote up on gaming about it, which you can all definitely go and check out if you're watching this right now. I'll link it somewhere. But yeah, they also it wasn't really like an announcement because the game had already been announced, but they also brought up the game that was formerly Chorus too. So it's actually called Stray Gods now. I believe another game out called Chorus, and they had to change the name. But that one looks very, very interesting. I'm very excited about that one in particular because there's a lot of queer representation in there, and it's basically like a musical based video game.
Yeah, I've been seeing stuff about this for a while, and I guess it's from the minds of BioWare's David Gayden and Obsidian's Liam Essler.
Yeah.
So like great names attached to this on top of that. So
there are so many big names attached. It's so cool, and like actual queer representation inside the teams that are working on it. You got like Troy Baker doing voices on there as well. It's like just so many big names, and what really looks cool to me is you're basically playing as this character who has the power to pull people into like musical songs, and the choices it looks so great. The choices that you make during these songs, you get like options on the screen, help to like shape the world around you as you play the game, and that just sounds really cool and really different and not something that I've really experienced before.
It's really outside the box of like what we normally get. Anything that will combine Greek mythology type deal with musicals is like an automatic buy for me. Like, love Greek mythology, though it is a mess, but we love mess, so I'm down. And then I just love musicals, so this sounds like my type of game for sure.
Yeah, I think you get to like do musical battles with like the Minotaur and stuff in there too.
Oh
so
my god, yes.
I'm very, very much looking forward to where this goes when it comes out.
Me too.
Yeah. Other than that, Elden Ring sales numbers just hit 12 million. 12 million in I don't even know. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks now since it came out. I can't remember because I played so much of that game. It's ridiculous. But in terms of actually putting that into perspective, there was an article from Ars Technica, which if I can open and show you all this, let's see if this works on my end. Listen, I'm going to apologize to the audio listeners right now. But yeah, I'm just going to show this real quick. Basically, this is how all the games have performed. For audio listeners, all the lines are like going up slowly over time for like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and Sekiro and all that. And then Elden Ring just shoots right up to 12 million.
It might as well just be a straight line up. You know, it's insane. Well, I mean, the hype of this game has been built up for so long. We've been talking about it for what, 4 or 5 years before this. And when they showcased it, I believe it wasn't Game Awards, it was like Summer Game Fest, I think it was last year, when they finally announced the date for it. It was I think that literally took over the rest of E3. No one else was talking about anything else. It was like, I can't believe Elden Ring has a date, all this other stuff. So like seeing that during Summer Game Fest and it being the first one of the year last year was like the best way to set off what gaming can be and live up to it now, because obviously 12 million sales. Are you kidding me? Like that just means that this game is doing well. I keep seeing stuff about people saying like, like, here's all the stuff that they were supposed to put in. This game's not complete yet. Blah blah. It's like, go home. There's reasons why things aren't done yet. Like, they could add that.
Do you want a
later on
good
in the
game, or do you just want to like we don't need a cyberpunk situation happening?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we need to take the time. See, the thing about I haven't played any Elden Ring, but I've been watching a lot of streamers here and there play it, and just I'm in tech, so a lot of my friends are big gamers. It seems to go hand in hand, I guess.
I'm sure.
They just the way that they talk about the game, I've heard rarely anything about, problems with it for the most part, because I feel like they put a lot of work into it. Like, I'm sure there's like little problems here and there, but to have like a excellent game like that right off the bat, it just shows a test to like how much time they spent in the game, right? And you can always add these little things in, these little patches in later. And the reviews have been outstanding of this game right off the bat. So I haven't played any like Dark Souls or whatever, but like the temptation has always been just like right there. And now I'm like, do I do it? I've been watching Dylan play it a lot, because Dylan plays it in the morning. So I'll put 8-Bit Dylan on my screen and watch him playing it. And I'm like, Dylan, you might convince me. I might do this. This might happen.
I'd say I'm not typically a Dark Souls or Souls like fan typically, but this one sold me because of the more open world side of it.
I love open world. So
because I struggled with Dark Souls. Like, I don't think I really played Dark Souls too much, but I played Bloodborne, and it's almost a mimic, other than like the design of it. It's almost a mimic as far as like the way it plays to Dark Souls. So I struggled with how like cramped everything was, and I always felt like I was in a tunnel. And maybe if you get into a bigger cave size when you're like fighting enemies, but it always just felt like you were in these small areas climbing up ladders, and like it was all very tiny. This, I can like literally run from one side of the map to the other, and I feel like I'm doing something and finding creatures and monsters across the way. Like, it feels much more bright and vibrant, and I think that's what I kind of, as much as I like the Tim Burton-esque side of video games, that it just, Dark Souls wasn't hitting it for me, where this is definitely like hitting that spot a little bit better personally.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think they've like shaken up the design a little bit with the open world up in there. It's not to say that's completely gone. Like, if you go into any kind of like catacombs or caves or dungeons or anything like that, that feels very Souls there. Any like of the dungeon designs that just feel very, very much like the older Souls games. For me, I will say this is and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but this seems like the most accessible version of a Soulsborne game that they've made up until this point. And the only reason that I say that is that for years, the Soulsborne series has kind of had like a, the community has kind of had like a get good mantra, like you just have to get better at the game. If you're not good enough, just like keep trying or whatever. I feel like it's the wrong approach generally. Because that, to me, that's always felt like it encourages like a superiority kind of thing, where like if you're not good enough to play it, that you don't deserve to play it, that kind of thing, which when it comes to like accessibility in general, that's a whole conversation. Personally, like I would go forward with the it's not get good, it's try something else. Try doing something else, because like if you're slamming your head against a brick wall and then wondering why it's not working, maybe you need a sledgehammer or something like instead, because there's so many options and tools in these games. And the nice thing about Elden Ring, and again, I've mentioned this before, is that because it's open world, because there are so many options, you can literally, if you hit a brick wall and you're not getting past it, you can go away, you can go do something else. Like, you can go find a side level up, go find a side dungeon, go do some different things, and like be like me and just keep headbutting other things until you get strong enough to go back and headbutt the thing that you wanted to kill in the first place, or play it with friends. The summon system in this game is so much better now than what I've experienced in past games. Not only do you have like summons in single player, so you could summon in specific instances, I think, in past games. I can't remember exactly. But in this game, you literally find ashes in the game where you can summon monsters and like specific enemies that you battle throughout the game. You can actually bring them onto your side in certain parts of the game, which are supposed to be too hard.
Have you seen the Mimic one?
I have. I just got it. I
Okay.
just got it.
I just watched a TikTok of a guy who literally sends out his mimic out, and like he just eats cereal as his mimic battles it and does nothing. He literally does nothing.
my
It's just the
God.
entirety of him fighting a boss with just
The
his
mimic is great.
And I
Yeah.
laughed
Get
so
them.
hard. Just like,
Mhm.
just do it for me. And he's like himself just dodging and slicing at it. It's so
Mhm.
funny. It's so
The
funny.
fun thing about the mimic as well is that it'll actually attack with whatever you have equipped when you summon it at the time. So if you fight in a certain way and there's certain things that you actually don't like, if as long as you're holding it and you have it equipped when you use the mimic tier, your mimic will go into battle using those
I love
items.
it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
That's cool.
So, like, if you're equipped with like a magic-based item at the beginning, it'll just start throwing magic out instead of using. Because I was really confused because I had my magic items equipped and I used like a big old scythe as well, which causes bleed damage, which is like percentage-based damage, which is it's very very overpowered in the game as well, at least at the point that I'm at. But I was wondering why isn't he using like the scythe? I literally set him out there. He's just staying at a distance and using magic. And I realized it's because I summoned the guy. Well, I say guy, the girl, because I use a female character. I summoned her, and she just and I had the magic stuff equipped at the time, which is exactly the reason why. So you can kind of like get the mimic to behave how you want it to.
Yeah.
But I don't even think it's that good, honestly.
No?
No. It's fine in some instances. Like if you're going out there to take stuff down in the field and there's multiple enemies, I feel like that's a really good situation to use it in. But when you're one-on-one and with a boss, I don't think it's as good. There are other like summons, specifically like there are undead summons where if they get killed, as long as they don't get hit while they're down on the ground, they'll get back up and keep attacking again. In terms of like pulling the boss's aggro and stuff like that, that is, I think, superior to mimic tiers in my personal opinion at this point.
Right.
Because you can have like multiple skelly men. I call them my skelly bros. And yeah, my skelly bros, we go into battle together and then all they have to do is start poking things from distance. I took down a dragon using my skelly bros because they were just like taking just so much aggro just constantly all the time. And my job then becomes not to defeat the boss, but to keep my skelly bros alive through the entire encounter. And it's difficult. Let's just say that. It's very, very difficult because as soon as an AoE attack comes, if they're on the floor, they're gone. They're gone. But I've managed to take down things I wouldn't be able to take down, which is, again, going back to the accessibility argument with this particular title is so good. It actually did lead me on to thinking about accessibility versus difficulty in these type of games. And it's kind of like changed my kind of view of it. And obviously I don't want to act like, because again, for a long time, these games have been, I don't want to say very inaccessible, but they haven't been the most like welcoming to people, which is kind of the point of the game. But it made me think about there's a difference between accessibility versus like difficulty in games in general.
Yeah.
And of course, like
sure.
I do feel like games can be accessible, but also be very, very difficult at the same time. For instance, and I don't want to sound like ableist or anything like that in this conversation, further from the point, but if you take something like, have you heard of Jump King, for instance?
Jump King. I don't think I have.
Okay, so it's one of these rage games, right? And I feel like when I look at the Soulsborne series, it's kind of like the point of it is kind of like a rage game.
Is Jump King that one where he's on a pogo stick or something? Or
I think that's Pogo Stuck, but it's very similar. So games like Getting Over It and Jump King and Pogo Stuck. So in this, you basically play as a little knight who's stuck down. It's a 2D game, 2D pixel game where you're stuck down as a knight at the bottom of a pit, and you're just told there's a babe at the top. So you have to jump your way up there. You literally only have 3 inputs, which is like 2 inputs really, the directional stick and the jump button. And what you have to do, there's no like charge gauge or anything like that, but you have to use the jump button, hold it for a specific period of time to, in collaboration with obviously the directional buttons, to change your angle and arc and to be able to jump out specifically up these different jumps. And if you fall, it's very unforgiving. You can fall down a really long way. So it'll make you absolutely rage. But I think like the idea of these rage games in general, and this is why I would relate them to something like a Souls game, is the feeling of like learning and then overcoming this obstacle, like just memorizing. And some people can't do that, and like it just made me realize that it's difficult, but it's still an accessible game. I can see that being played for anybody who like say even if you've lost an arm, and you get like the special adaptive controllers that Xbox make or something like that. You could easily play that game. Obviously that doesn't cover every type of like disability and stuff, but I would say that's a very accessible game, but it's very, very difficult. Because a lot of the time you find difficult games, just a lot of people like calling them not very accessible. But I definitely feel like there's a difference there between those two concepts. To me, at least. I don't know if you disagree.
No, there's different
on that.
concepts there. Like I think the difficulty and the accessibility and inaccessibility are not the same, because you could say like, oh, it's inaccessible for me because it's too hard and I'm not good at games or something like that. But I think the main part is, do they provide, all the accessibility features for someone who needs them, right? So can you put in your special controllers? Is the color contrast good for people who are colorblind? Things like that, right? Can you do pedal controls, or whatever else they have available for, people who need them? So I don't think you can say it's inaccessible because of the difficulty. I think, or else we would have like the most easy games ever,
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's no challenge whatsoever.
Exactly.
I mean, on top
and
of it,
people are looking for that, right? So
well, the reason that I bring this up is because like a lot of people like have argued for an easy mode in like Souls games. And I just wanted to generally get like, what is your take on like on an easy mode? Should Souls games have an easy mode?
I don't think so. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't. So that's kind of the point, isn't it?
That's the point, is that they're ridiculously hard.
Yeah, they're supposed to be hard. And I guess like the nice thing about Elden Ring is that, again, like we spoke about, is it doesn't have to be. You can make it easier. Like it is becoming more. There are options there that it gives you to make the game easier. Now, I wish it wouldn't punish you at the same time as using these options. Because like which again, it's still, we talked about this before on the podcast, but it kind of goes back to that whole get good complex, where if I play multiplayer mode, for instance, all of a sudden, because I want to play with my friends, now at any time an invader can come, another player can come and like into my game and then just gank me and the other person.
Yeah.
And then I lose progress and then I have to do stuff again. And
Runs your rust.
Yeah. And like that's not the kind of experience that I want. And it's little things like that which just make me think I wish there was an option here to just toggle that off. I wish there was an option to just be able to play with my friends and have fun without having to worry and have a little bit of anxiety added to the background there, where there's just some random guy that's going to come along and gank me and reset my progress when I'm in the middle of like a dungeon or something. And it's but other than that, like I think it's been quite good. It's been like the most accessible title by far, and you can see in the sales numbers where we started with the story that it's I don't know, I don't want to call it a game changer, but I feel like it's going to be on a lot of people's Game of the Year lists. I feel like this potentially, I don't want to say it's going to define a generation or anything like that. I don't use any big words like that, but it's definitely been very surprising how many people have like just jumped into it. And I think maybe that's the George R.R. Martin connection too, maybe like putting that on people's lists too.
I think there was like good amount of hype because of that. There's a lot of lead up, and I think this is one of those situations where we have a lot of people who are just like into this type of game, right? There's all of those the Souls like people who already liked it, and then they just need to figure out how to get the other half in. Right. And this is the game. This is the gateway game to get in, because nothing in this game is new or crazy or something we haven't seen before. Not like I can't think of a single thing in this game that's like not in a previous Souls game, like mechanics wise. However, the way they present it, that's where the difference is, so like I think that's why it's a little bit open. Like the brightness, again, I bring it up again, like seeing that tree, that beautiful golden tree when you first exit the tutorial, that alone was just like, wow, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
It's so beautiful compared to like the other titles. It's like I'm constantly running around the open fields and just being at awe at like everything that I'm seeing. It's so pretty. I just want to stay here
Yeah.
forever. If it's not for the people coming up and trying to like kill me, that I'd want to
This is
exist
great,
in
but
this
I
world.
gotta go.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna run to a bonfire, or what is it? What do they call it? Not a bonfire. I'm blanking on the
There's like
term.
points of grace now, or
Grace. That's what it
lost
is.
grace, or
Thank
something,
you.
or something like that. I don't
Y'all
know.
are convincing me. I might have to play this game now. I was going to anyway. It was going to be the next game I
Yeah.
played off stream, but
Get
you
through
know.
the first 4 hours. That's gonna be your
Yeah.
most frustrating part. I'm still
Mhm.
throwing my controller at my wall out of frustration. But once you get like stuff that actually,
Yeah.
kills things,
Mhm.
you get the game. Yeah, then it gets
Then you're
fun.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
will
right.
say, the only thing that you could say is like at the beginning there at the particular grace points that you get to, there's this light that leads you in certain directions for progress for the game.
Right.
If you follow that light at the beginning, it's gonna lead you to an area that's gonna keep killing you over and
Oh
over and
no.
over again, unless you're like super good at the game. So honestly, my best course of advice is just to go exploring. Just explore the world and like
For
find little
sure.
dungeons and stuff and like do those
That's
first
my
because
jam.
Gear up.
they're a lot
Yeah.
easier.
That's
So,
why Breath of the
yeah.
Wild was my thing because I could just like go on little side
Uh,
quests all the time,
yeah.
for
I mean,
hours.
this is just Breath of the Wild Souls. That's
But
all this
hard.
is.
But
Yeah.
extremely hard.
Well, again, it's only as hard
Exactly.
as you make it, depending on the area that you go to. So, even Breath of the Wild was like that. You could run
Yes,
straight to the end of the game in Breath
you
of the
could.
Wild and just get absolutely wrecked straight away. So
Let me
I
go
would
try that real quick. Let me go restart my game and just go
Mhm,
right in.
mhm. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know there are options, and I'm glad it's doing really well because maybe there'll be more games like this in the future. Well, definitely be more games like this in the
Oh
future, but
yeah.
maybe they'll give this a lot of attention and DLC and stuff like that. The one thing I do want them to do though is more patches just to make the game a little bit more stable. That's the only thing that I have issues to. Anytime weather comes up, like the frame rate just starts stuttering. All of a sudden, like I'm freezing for a second, then I run,
Yep.
and if I'm near a
Oh
cliff,
no.
I'm almost going off that cliff. So because it speeds it back up to catch up.
Weather
So
in
other than
general in games is like very tough, I feel like, for
mm,
devs and game
For sure.
makers because of how intense it takes on your computer. It's like, well, how far can we take it to where it's like someone without a 3080 Ti can't, like, it won't crash the computer, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I'm glad it's doing great. Now, just as a reminder to everybody, did you know the pages of Gaming Magazine are coming to life this July in New York City? Indeed.
Nice.
You will be able to join 6,000 of your fellow gamers at this unique convention that celebrates all things queer geekery, from streamers to indie games to AAA developers and cosplay and drag icons. Yeah, and that's all happening this July in New York City at Gaming Live. There is something for everyone, so head on down to gaming.live to find out more and grab your tickets now. That's my forced ad read that was put in there for me to
Beautiful.
do. Mhm. Absolutely fantastic.
It pays the
I'm
bills,
actually
right?
well, yeah, well,
Well, it could
gaming
pay the
pays
bills.
my bills kind of, so yeah. Yeah. So let's move on to Chanel. It's time for your spotlight. We're gonna get to know you just a little bit more. Just to double check, Chad, do you have your questions on your
I
end?
do. I have them up.
Yes. All right,
I'm
you go
ready.
first. You go first.
All right, Chanel. Let's see. What do you feel like attracts people to your content and stream? Like, I know you say you're a coder, so what kind of stuff, like, that's very unique, attracts people?
Yeah, for sure. So, I've gotten a lot of attraction lately from like new devs and stuff because I'll do little coding streams here and there. So, I coded my own portfolio. I had like my storm. I got a storm drawing commissioned. It's my background. It's really really cool. Love Storm from X-Men.
Mhm.
I made like a little Pokemon apps where you can search Pokemon and stuff, and we did it all together, all the coding and stuff. The other thing before I started coding, I just started coding this year on stream. Before that, the thing that I love to do is I just love to vibe. We love to play games together. You can watch me fail in games. I always say like I love playing games, but some games I'm just
Mhm.
like so bad at. I play a lot of Dead by Daylight, but I die all the time because my brain is just scattered. I pop gens all the time I blow them up because I'm just distracted by things going on.
I do the same thing in
It's a
that game. Believe me, I'm terrible at it.
I got a perk
It's
for
so
you. Don't
hard.
worry. I got a perk for you
I
though,
know
solve
technician. I
everything.
know I never
Yeah.
equip it though. I'm so bad, but like, because I go and I'm like, I'm gonna be good. This is gonna be fine. And then
Mhm.
I pop like I did a video. I did 10 times in one match. I blew up a jet 10 times. Like, I don't know
It's
what was
okay.
wrong with me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just love to vibe. I try to make it a safe space for everyone who comes in. So, I'll get, everyone from every community. I have a lot of people. My big thing is I'm trying to represent like Black women in tech. So I'll get a lot of people
Mhm.
who come watch me game who are like, oh, it's nice to see a Black female coder. So I just love being that representation and telling people don't quit. And I talk about, my journey in code and things like that, and then playing games, but just in a silly matter. Like, I don't take anything seriously. I'm just
Mhm.
playing games. I'll play like Kingdom Hearts or whatever I feel like. We'll just go with the flow, and I'll play games with the community a lot. Like tonight, we're going to play some Mario Kart together, which I'm not good at either, but I always play just because it's fun. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Straight vibing. Following
Great
on from that,
vibes.
actually, so you do a lot of different stuff on your stream. You
Mhm.
literally, obviously, you focus, and sometimes you'll do coding on stream.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll play video games. What is your favorite type of content to stream? Like, is it the video games? Is it the coding? Is it collabing with other creators? What brings you the most joy when it comes
Oh,
to
good
streaming?
question. It's a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. So, when I first started streaming, I loved collabing with people
Mm.
because it was a good way to meet people. So I play a lot of like Dead by Daylight with them. I got into Knockout City recently, so I've been playing with a lot of the creators and stuff like that. And Among Us was like my big game. That's why I got a little Among Us
Mm.
character. That
Yes.
that game I would play every Sunday, and I just invite it'd just be like an open invitation. So I'd meet new people that way, different streamers, different friends, from Twitter, things like that. So I loved collab. Those were always my best
Mhm.
streams because like hijinks would always be chaos all the time because
I've seen some of the clips, actually. I've seen some of the clips of you specifically, like, as the changeling going around just murdering everybody. It's,
yeah,
yeah, it's great, it's
I
great.
can be a little
Um,
sneaky. Yeah.
like, that's the thing with me too. It's like, since they added the new updates with all the different, like,
Yeah.
roles and the
Yeah.
extra stuff, I felt anxious about jumping back into that game. I'm like, "Oh my god, there's too many options here." But, like, seeing your clips, I'm like,
You
"I might give
have
this a
to.
go." Like,
Do you
it
like
looks
the
amazing. Yeah.
Do you like the modded side of it too? Because I started recently playing with the mods, and then on top of the
Mhm.
proxy chat, which adds a whole different
Oh,
level to
proxy
the
chat is
game.
hilarious. Like, I used
Mhm.
to do a lot of the proxy chat because it was just the game was getting a bit stale at the beginning because I was like playing it over and over again.
Yeah.
So I mixed it up a
Mhm.
bit. So, but proxy chat was always hilarious because you would be next to someone and just like slice them and stuff.
Mm.
But like
Yeah,
I haven't played any of the other mods, but they basically took, I think, from some of the mods, like,
they
they
did
added the
the engineer.
shapeshifter where you can be where you morph into people. They added the engineer. You can look at vitals. They added engineer, so you can confuse them with the imposters because they can vent as well.
Mhm.
So they can vent too. And then you have like the guardian angel. So if you die first, you can guard people from being killed. So I've seen a couple times where someone's been guarded and just about to be killed, and they get caught. So I've been loving that game lately. The coding I just started doing this year, actually. I made it a goal this year to do at least one coding stream a month, just so that I can like, I had a bit of anxiety, imposter syndrome with it. Like, oh, people watching me code, like that's so scary. Like, what if I code bad? What if people hate it?
And it's all impressive to me,
Yeah,
believe me. I don't know the
that's what
first thing about coding,
well, who
so,
cares,
like, I'm
right?
just like, "Wow, I don't know what you're doing, but it's awesome." Yo.
Right? So I was just like
Mhm.
doing things and explaining like just, what I'm doing. So I was like, I'm gonna do it once a month, but I've been doing it like once a week, sometimes twice a week. Like usually Saturdays I do Stardew Saturdays and we just chill. But I was like, let's do some coding challenges. So I threw in we did some coding challenges together and figured it all out because I'm not the best at them, but we did it together and we figured stuff
Mhm.
out. So it's been really fun. So those are probably like the coding streams I really like, and the collabing earlier was really good. So
Oh
a
yeah.
little bit of
Oh, yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Very nice.
Now, I will
The
say, just before we move on to the next question, originally 8-Bit Dylan was going to be co-hosting with me, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
Fred, I know
Ah,
you know 8-Bit Dylan, but unfortunately couldn't be here.
That's
So
okay.
we had a few questions from Dylan themselves threw in here that they wanted to ask. So if
You have to
anything
sneak
seems weird,
questions.
you
Yeah.
can blame
oh,
It's not
Dylan.
me.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not asking the question. It's Dylan. Yeah, that's what it is. So the next question is, what inspired you to start streaming? What do you hope to achieve? Moving on in the next 5 years and so on.
That's a Dylan question.
That's a Dylan
Oh, it's a
question.
great question. So I get this question a lot. Uh, but the main thing that got me started was I just saw like the amazing things people could do on stream. So my one friend, tying back into accessibility, he has like an illness where it's really hard for him to play certain games. So if it's
Mm,
inaccessible, it's really hard for him to play. So he's a big accessibility advocate. So
yeah.
he would raise a lot of money and stuff on stream. He would also raise money for like Sick Kids Hospital. And I was like, that's so crazy that you can just play games and like get a community together. And that's so crazy. So he was one of the people that inspired me to start streaming. So I was like, maybe what I can do is just be an advocate for, again, the biggest thing, Black women in coding. So maybe if
Yeah.
they see me, we can there's very few, it's very not diverse. The field it's starting to shift, but the way I've been or where I've been working, it hasn't been. So I thought if they could see me and see that, I'm 6 years into it and it was a struggle at the beginning and now I'm doing really great, that they will, it will kind of force them to keep going and get through it. So I was like, I can just play games. I can finish my games, which I never finish because I'm all over the place. So we can finish some games, we can talk code, and maybe eventually I'll get into coding and maybe be able to raise funds for stuff like I do Black Girls Code a lot,
Mm.
all that kind of fun stuff. So I was like, let's just get going. Let's just go live. Let's see how it goes. And it's just like really taken off and I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy my community. I really enjoy just coding in general, and I get to play some of my like childhood like favorite games all the time, and show my like joy of them with other people, and people come in and share their joy as well with it.
You
Mm.
mentioned being like there not being a lot of Black women in coding
Mhm.
specifically, and I gotta ask, like, is it hard to kind of be that representation, like one of the few representations out there, to be that person? I mean, because I know a lot of just people of color in general who are like the first of their kind or whatever. It's they have to represent a ton of different people or the future of it, and there's like a bit of a stress, and you mentioned imposter syndrome of coding and things
Yeah.
like that. Do you feel that stress sometimes, and like how do you get over it?
Yeah, always. I always talk about it. Like imposter syndrome um, has always been there for me right from the beginning. I came out of a unconventional way. I didn't really study computer science. I switched careers. I took like a little post grad cert after and just kind of dove right into coding in the unconventional way. So I had a lot to learn at the beginning, and there was a couple times where I just wanted to quit. Right. So I don't mind like being one of the few people out there because I'm just thinking about, early Chanel coder and how I didn't talk to anyone about any of this. I was going through imposter syndrome a lot. And I didn't have anyone really to talk to or didn't feel like I could talk to. So, if I'm kind of there just, streaming whatever and people are like, how do you deal with this? They can just like chat with me about it and I can tell them. And for imposter syndrome, I think the biggest thing is I love getting feedback from like if I'm working, like I'll get feedback. I'll be like, how did I code this? Like, is this okay? Like, because in my head, I don't think it like in my head, I just think it's like the worst thing I've ever coded, So I'll just try to get feedback, constructive feedback a lot from managers and stuff like that, or talk it out with like a coworker, or talk it out with even a like a fellow coder or something like that, and be like, I wrote this thing. Can we look over it together? Do you have any suggestions? Things like that. Because a lot of the times, the feedback is always good.
Yeah,
Most of the time, people
you're
are
your
just
own
there to
worst
help you.
enemy.
Yeah, really are. So a lot of time, the feedback is really good. And if the feedback is not good, it's not like they're trying to hurt you. They're just giving constructive criticism about like how to make things better. They want to make, for the most part, for the most part, the people that I've met at least are trying to make you better.
Yeah.
They, they're just trying to give advice to make you better. So feedback, I think feedback is the best thing for imposter syndrome. People could be like, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. That's not going to help me.
No.
It's just like, I'm going to show you a thing. Please tell me if it needs work, something like that.
Amazing.
So we have another question from Dylan. It's, what is your favorite color of character in Among Us and why? Not sure why you asked this, but maybe there's a story there that you can tell.
It's orange.
I see an orange one right there.
Yeah.
I was gonna guess that, but I didn't want to assume. So
I went with orange. So my favorite color, it's actually kind of a tie. Like usually it's purple or blue. But for some reason, I kind of wanted to just like have like a really bright color for Among Us, so I went with orange. And then the other thing is, it's has like there's like a leaf hat.
Oh yeah, the little like
so
it looks like an orange.
Yeah, so I just look like a carrot, which I think is so funny. So I always like look like a carrot. So like they've added new with the new Among Us, you have this like cute, like it's kind of like Dead by Daylight where you have a blood web, but it's like a cube. So you can like unlock the more you play, you can unlock different outfits. So now I'm like I have like a little tuxedo. I'm like, oh, I'm like a fancy carrot, or I'm like a metal carrot, or
I love
bionic
that.
carrot, or whatever.
I love that so much. Just a quick question: are there any like bunny rabbit like kind of costumes in there now?
I don't think so. I don't.
Oh,
think
good. You don't have to worry then. In that case, you're fine then. You're fine.
You're set. You're set.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
right? I'm good. I'm safe. I'm safe from the bunnies.
For the time being. For the time being.
I know one of your favorite hobbies is playing in reality games online. What got you into that scene, and why do you love it so much?
Oh
That's
no,
another
that's
Dylan
a Dylan question for sure.
I had no idea what I was saying as I was reading.
Okay, so let me explain for the people who don't know. So you know how there's reality games like Big Brother and Survivor and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a huge.
Is this games based on reality TV shows?
It is.
Or?
So it's
okay.
based on
Cool.
like reality competition strategy kind of shows, right?
Okay.
So during the pandemic, I'm just kind of bored and at home and stuff. And someone invited me to come play one of their online reality games based on, did anyone ever watch, did any of you ever watch I Love Money? It was like a spinoff. It was a spinoff.
I'm not sure if we got that here in the UK, but
don't worry, I didn't watch it either, but it was like a spinoff of like Flavor of Love. Flavor of Love had like all these little spinoffs, and one of them was this competition show called I Love Money. So I played like an org version of it, and just or an online reality version of it. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna play. And I ended up winning, which is so random, but it was just like, what? So then I found out that there was like more communities that did like more of these things. So it was just something to do during the pandemic. I really liked like board games that were like strategy and stuff. I really enjoyed watching like Big Brother and Survivor and things like that. Just watching people, do strategy. And and I guess that's why I really like Among Us, because when you're an imposter, you have to like strategically figure out how to maneuver without people figuring it out that it's you. So that's why I'm usually a
that
pretty good
social
imposter.
engineering is so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Wild. So like there's little short versions of them that you can play online through Twitter and stuff, where they're like 3 to 8 hours or something long in a day, and some are like weeks long or months long, something like that. But I've just like, it's just so fascinating to like have to like use your brain to like pivot all the time and figure out how to make relationships and like do things like that. So I think it's just like the gamer in me just really enjoys trying to figure that out. But it just makes it more interesting because it's people.
yeah, definitely. Have you done First Class Trouble yet?
Yes.
It's a good one.
Yes. I've not done that. Is it any good?
It's pretty fun.
It's fun. It's different than what you would play with Among Us, because like it's a smaller group, and it's I don't know how to explain it. Have you ever played Deceit? That game?
I've not played Deceit.
Okay,
No.
I was just like, it's more closer to Deceit than Among Us, but like it has like a lot of those types of things in it. But it's fun.
It's fun.
Well, we'll have to get like a group together and do like a gaming specific, First Class Trouble Among Us, something like that, just so we can throw each other out of the airlock.
Among Us a bit. So heck yeah, I'm in. Let's do this.
Down.
So there is a one last question from Dylan, and it's quite sweet. What advice would you give to anyone think about getting into coding?
Oh, well, I always say don't give up. Also, if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about should I do it, I always just say do it.
Mhm.
Tech is ever growing.
Yeah.
We need representation. We need to change the narrative of what web developers and coders and people who work in tech look like. We need that
Mhm.
representation. I would just say no, don't give up. I always say the first couple of years for me were really rough because it was just like learning everything, navigating through a male dominated thing, trying to figure out my place and figure that all out. So all I can say is I'm in a really good place now with where I am, and it was because I just kept going and going and meeting new people and just getting better at it so I could like hone it. So
Mm.
it will take time. Like when you jump in, it's going to be scary. I know
Yeah.
some people like are shifting like careers to do it, but it's worth it in the end. And you don't have to be a web developer. You can go into project management or whatever. Like everything just like goes into so many things. So it's just like get yourself into tech. It's really worth it. And like maybe you'll get into gaming industry, maybe you'll get
Yeah.
into like
Yeah.
whatever. You never know. Like so many people start with a boot camp or whatever, and they end up
Mm.
working like in gaming or end up working wherever, but you have to start somewhere. So just make the jump, do the leap. What do you have to lose? The world's on fire.
Yeah.
Just take the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, to follow on from that, how accessible would you say that whole scene is now? How would somebody get started in coding if that is something that they wanted to pursue?
Yeah, for sure. Like there's so many really cool boot camps out there. There's one boot camp out that I've been like kind of following that's absolutely free. It's a 30-week boot camp. I think it's Learning with Leon, something like that. Look up hashtag 100 devs. It's completely free. It's 30 days. Like there's boot camps out there like that. I took like a college course because my brain can't do 30 weeks. Like I had to do 8 months.
Mhm.
But there's college courses. Yeah, boot camps, some are like 3 months long. You can do it. I've had friends who do like the 3 month long boot camp and they're senior devs today. They just took a little bit more time to ramp up and stuff, but they can get in. But get yourself into a boot camp, or if you need to take a 1 year thing, do that, whatever your pace is. And then just start applying, like figure out like what the jobs are. If there's like a dream job you have that has like junior roles and stuff like that, look up the job description, see what they want you to learn it. But just you got boot camps, you got everything out there, but you can do a 3 month boot camp and be out there already. So it's great.
I like that you had like the keep an open mind aspect
Yes.
in there because I see that in gaming and esports a lot with students who are, want to get into esports, they want to get into
Yeah.
gaming, and I always say like there's more to just being a professional gamer or
Yeah,
being a part of
absolutely.
an org or whatever. Like, did you know that there are marketing people in gaming? Did you know that
Exactly.
there were coders? There's all these programmers. There's a lot of
So
jobs
much.
that you're not seeing because you don't see them. You see they're in the background, and
Exactly.
there's a lot of opportunities for you to grasp, and there's opportunities that haven't come up yet that
I
you
was just
could
gonna
be.
say, there's jobs that haven't even been created yet that
Mhm.
you could, like, shift into. Like, I was saying, there's a lot of data science and stuff like algorithms and machine learning and whatever that didn't exist when I finished school, like, 6 years ago that are just popping up everywhere. Like, there's so much behind the scenes, and different jobs out there,
Yeah.
but you gotta take that first step where you just learn something to get your
Mhm.
foot in the door, right? And I think a lot of people get overwhelmed because they're like, oh, this job says I need to learn this, and this job says I need to learn all these other things. There's so many languages. Just get yourself into one and then, shift into something and then you can learn another one. But you don't need to know everything right
Yeah.
off the bat. You're new, and the people hiring me, you're new and you'll learn. You will learn.
And jumping off that, so what kind of content inspires you? Are there any content creators that you enjoy yourself that kind of give you that inspiration?
Yeah, for sure. So, when I first got into streaming, obviously Dylan was one of the people. We had very similar tastes in like online reality games. His content's really funny. He's all over the place with games and stuff, and he doesn't take it seriously, which is like my jam as well. I've been watching a lot of coders lately as well. So Metal and Coffee is like one of my faves to watch
Hmm.
right now. She does mostly coding streams nowadays, but she's also like a metal DJ. So it's like her skill.
That's crazy. I've
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Yeah. So she's really
It's quite the
cool.
combination. Jeez,
Right?
that's awesome.
Yeah, so she actually, like, I was always like, oh, I'm really gonna get, like, I'm gonna start coding. But after watching her and just like how her streams go, and she's just kind of going with the flow, and people are like adding suggestions here and there, but not really overtaking anything. I was like, let's just do it. Let's like jump into it. So she really inspired me to just like go and do it. And then it was like another like Black woman in tech. So I was just like, yes, let's continue this chain.
Just
Let's like
metal
go.
DJ. That's
Yeah, she's a
awesome.
part-time metal DJ. It's like so cool. And she's a senior dev and everything. So it's like more representation. So I've been really into that. I've been in so many like Dead by Daylight streams. And I think it's because it's like a lot of like queer content creators who are just like,
Yes.
it's like
There are so many
vast.
queer content creators
Yes.
who are into DVD.
Yeah.
It's what I said earlier. It's like, one, they're huge on their community,
Yeah.
and two, like they have so many characters in that game that
Yeah.
are so very well represented. I mean, there could always be more. I'll never say that everybody's represented, but
No.
but they have more than most games do.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I've been watching. I think I just got, because I wasn't like I'm like so jumpy. Like I don't play a lot of horror games, so like I was really hesitant to play the game. But then one day my friend's like, just come play. I'm like, okay, I'm willing to try a game at least once. And then I started playing it, and then I started watching content creators and seeing how vast the community is, and like how many, the representation for the fog whisperers and all that kind of stuff, and the content on TikTok and all that. So I'm just like, I love it. I love that it literally anyone could be a creator who plays this game. Like it's so cool. You can see a little bit of yourself in like a lot of them. So I'm really enjoying that as well.
I mean, like absolutely awesome content to consume. I really feel like I should be getting back into Dead by Daylight. I'm going to be dragged kicking and
stream. Let's do it. That's another one. Among Us. And
Among Us, Dead by Daylight. We need to get all the good things on the go.
You come play. You're invited to come play anytime. It's kind of late for you though, but like,
no, you know what? I'll stay up. I'll stay up. That's fine. Speaking of getting people together for gaming, congratulations on your recent nomination for the Gaming Awards. I was like super psyched to see your name on that list as well. How did it feel to find out that you were nominated to be a rising star in the Gaming Awards?
It was wild. I was like, I was driving home from like somewhere. I didn't even expect it. I was just like, why am I being tagged in a bunch of things? Why do I have all these notifications? And I was like, what did I get nominated for? Like, this is wild. I would never expect it to be me. And like, just to put, heighten this, but basically I only just came out as like by maybe last year. So I've just like been slowly like over the years trying to like figure out like who I am. Like I think I've always known, but I was like, I'm in a heteronormative presenting relationship. It didn't seem necessary, but like after getting into Twitch and like seeing all the content creators, I was like, okay, I think I just need to like show my true self, even if it's this is my relationship. I need to show what I am. Like I've always been queer. Like I've known since I was in kindergarten, like that I was queer. I like boys and girls and whatever. So I was just like, let's just be real here. So I was like really overwhelmed because I'm like, I feel like I haven't been new to the community, but I feel like I'm like this baby because I've actually like said it out loud. So I was like, this feels very affirming, I guess.
I was going to say, like, the reason that you would have been chosen is because that you've had an impact on the queer community in the time that you've been streaming. So honestly, like, it's you're doing great things, and I absolutely love that for you. It's,
exactly. It's an honor just to even get that, like, to hear that, that I'm doing something for the community. That was always my purpose when I created this, was just to create like a safe space, right? And just people feel welcome there, and I want to protect them too, so it's just like, I hate it when people are attacked. Like I'll do whatever I can to make sure that I can do what I can do. Like, you get a lot of hate and stuff in the chats or the raids or whatever, and the thing is, I don't even care about myself. I'm more like, how do I like protect the people in my chat.
Yeah,
Like,
your mama bear comes out.
yeah, I could
Mhm,
care less
mhm.
about me. I care about, whatever. Even when I do an Among Us game, I'm like, are you comfortable with the people who are playing with you? You know, are you okay? Like, somewhat Panda, who's also nominated, played with me last week. And she asked, can we not use the word sus because it's really rooted in like homophobic language? And I was like, of course. And if anyone has a problem with not using that word, like, they'll be booted because I'm not arguing about this. If someone doesn't feel
Yeah.
comfortable using that word, then we'll figure it out. So, I just want to make sure everyone is welcome. I'm glad, like, I've done, if even a little bit of a contribution to the community, like, I'm just really happy about it.
Amazing. So outside of streaming, in your life, IRL, what kind of stuff do you get up to? Like, what's an average day for Chanel?
Oh man, when I actually go outside, no, I'm kidding.
What's that like? I don't know what that's like. What's outside like?
Wait,
Uh,
outside? I've never heard of this
what
concept.
is
What is this?
this?
I don't.
Yeah, for me, like, winter, I'm usually inside for the most part. I have a little doggy, so I take him out to, like, on trails and stuff. We like to go hiking and walk around, try to get exercise, I guess, whatever. Uh, exploring places, exploring Ontario. Stuff like that. In the summer, I'm really into baseball, so I love going to like Blue Jays games, and I play softball myself, so staying active and things like that. I love playing like softball and volleyball and things. Like, I'm just like really active. I did a ropes course this year. My arms will never forgive me.
Like
Yeah,
climbing ropes, like
it's
those, like
like, yeah,
one of
it's like
those.
different like ropes are tied together, and it's like different obstacles. So you might be like walking on planks, or
Oh,
you
okay,
might be
okay.
like, yeah, it's like tied together by ropes, or you might be like zip lining across two trees.
That sounds
This is
amazing.
in
Yeah.
I want to
Toronto.
do that.
Huh?
This is in
Yeah.
Toronto. I'm
Well,
going
it
to
was in
Toronto. I need to
the like
go.
cities outside of Toronto because Toronto
No.
doesn't have as many trees. But yeah, like I have a fear of heights and whatever, but my main goal is like the same thing with streaming. When I started streaming and I had this fear or coding, it's just like I just need to like jump in, and you get pushed into
Yeah.
the pool. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this even though I'm really high and my arm, like, I'm so weak at times. And so, but I was like, we're just gonna do it. So we did the ropes course. There were times where I was like literally just hanging, like walking. You're like hanging by the thingy or the pulley, but I literally was just like walking across like a tree or something, or like, it's so scary. But I did it. So I try. I always try to try new things. I always try to explore places, but yeah, I like to stay active and try new things for the most
Oh
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
Codergirlchan, outdoor adventurer. That's
Right?
fantastic. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
that before I became a coder,
Mhm,
full-fledged tech nerd. So
mhm, mhm, mhm. Now, obviously, being LGBTQ in the streaming community is incredibly important that we have good representation and that we actually carve out a place for ourselves. This is going to sound a little bit similar to a question that you've already had, but that was posed by Dylan. So we always like to ask, what advice would you give other LGBTQIA plus people who want to get into content creation, who might just be like a little, like hesitant to cross that threshold and get into it? And what would be your message to them?
yeah, for sure. I think the main thing is what I've kind of been saying the whole time, mostly with the coding thing, is it's representation, right? So
Mm,
even if one person sees you, if someone sees me and they're like, oh, you're like a queer like web developer who enjoys like Kingdom Hearts or something, right? It's like, you connect to that person. We were talking about it with Red too. It's like,
mhm,
a little, Asian girl might see Red and be like, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. Right. So it's like representation matters. Like, just like try it out, try content creation, like do it for yourself. Right. Just really enjoy, like, I'm sure if you're trying to get into it, like you really enjoy that and you want to like show, a part of yourself and show representation. So, just jump into it.
mhm.
Like literally, I always use this as an example. My one friend, SB Simone, who's amazing. I love her so much. She was so hesitant in doing content creation because she's like, maybe no one will watch me. No one will like want to watch anything? Like, I'm really nervous, blah, blah, blah. And we were like playing, and I was like, just go live. I'm like, just do it. Just go
Worst
live.
thing is no one watches.
What? Who cares, right? Delete the VOD later if it's terrible. Like, whatever, right? I was like, just go live. Okay. A year later, she's a freaking superstar. She's a partner, like Twitch streamer. Like, it's just
Amazing.
like, how will you ever know if you're going to succeed if you never even try? You know, just do it. We need it. We need the representation. The more, the better. We need a vast variety, you know?
The great thing about this as well, and like you might have already had this experience, but eventually, if it hasn't already happened, someone will come to you and they'll say, "You're the reason that I started streaming. You're the reason that I started creating content," and it is such a good feeling. So, like, yeah, if anybody hasn't already done it, just jump in.
It makes it all worth it in the end when you have someone who's just like, hey, I saw someone has come up to people have come to me and been like, I started coding because I saw you talking about it, so I just kind of jumped into it. It's like, oh my god, yes, please. This is what it's all about. You know?
Amazing. And looking to the future, what is your do you have any future plans for Codergirlchan? Like, what's the next little bit look like for you?
Yeah, like I just want to continue like growing the community. Like, you know, we started to like create this like little base community, and I'm just like loving it so much. I'd love to grow it, you know, do more code. I'd love to code a lot more. I'd love to have more, you know, bring in some more representation. We could do like more podcast stuff. We can just talk about it, have little forums and stuff. Maybe get into teaching and stuff. I've always loved teaching.
Start your own boot camp?
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
I'm putting it into the ether for you.
Yeah, something I'd love to mentor a lot more. I'm trying to get into that, you know, like, because like I said, when I started coding, I didn't really have someone who looked like me who would really understand like kind of what I was feeling. So like, I'd love to get into that more, do more talks about it, just have people ask questions. But yeah, I just want to get, you know, grow my community, get it out there. People can like come in and chat about their stories or just like see mine or anything like that, and just continue vibing and continue just being silly about playing games and never taking it seriously. So, you know, I just, you know, I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to see, but I'm just going to keep grinding like I always do, how I have as a coder. So,
do you see yourself going to any like IRL events? And have you ever been to like TwitchCon or anything like that?
I'm going this year. I'm going this year. So yeah, I'm definitely going to TwitchCon. I'm excited to meet, you know, my fellow content creators, and also I haven't been to the States in like however long. So I'm excited to get back there and check out San Diego and all that kind of stuff.
I'll say when I was there last, I think it was 2019. San Diego's such a fun town. Like, I had the best time because of TwitchCon. So
yeah,
good.
I'm excited. I've already booked everything except my ticket because it's not a thing yet. But I have everything else settled. But I will be there. I'm stepping out of my bubble because I feel like pandemic put me into like a bit of more of a shell. So I'm like, I'm just doing the jump like I used to with like the ropes course. I'm just taking the jump.
Yeah,
get going.
You'll love it when you get there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Best town ever, I feel.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll both be there, and we'll see you there. We'll grab a drink.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Now, we always finish. I don't know what happened there. With a section we like to call quick fire questions. Now, this isn't necessarily something that you're going to be prepared for, and it's not very stream of consciousness, but like just the first thing that comes to mind. You know, that's your answer. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. So yeah, Chad is going to ask you your first quick fire question.
All right, you ready? What's been your favorite game this year?
Oh God,
hasn't been a very long one, but
fair.
Okay, what was the one game that defined your childhood?
Donkey Kong Country.
Who's your favorite video game character?
Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Good choice.
Okay. Wait, you're a Kingdom Hearts fan? I never would have known.
What?
I mean, the Keyblades are not.
Yeah, just for the audio listeners, there are totally Keyblades hanging up in the background in this like awesome setup.
Yeah.
It's also got Keyblades in the background. I don't have Keyblades in the background.
Square Enix, what's going on here?
Come on.
I won't tell you my opinions on Kingdom Hearts. So it's probably, yeah, I'll just leave that. Yeah, quick fire questions. What game do you most want a sequel to?
Oh, sequel. I would do a Spiritfarer one. I would do a Spiritfarer
Not
one.
Kingdom Hearts 4?
I think it's good where it is.
Okay,
But I mean, I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't cry
wouldn't
if
be
there was a
mad.
new one. I wouldn't be sad if there was a new one.
Who would be your dream stream guest?
My dream stream guest. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's so many good
Alive or dead? It could be anybody.
Doesn't
it could
have
be
to be a
alive,
streamer.
it could be
Could be a celebrity.
anyone.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard.
We'll circle back. We'll circle
We'll
back.
Let's circle back.
yeah.
Yeah, let's circle back.
What game are you most looking forward to coming out this year?
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2.
If it does.
If it does, it better freaking come, I swear.
If you were marooned on an island, what 3 games would you want to have with you?
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
That's appropriate.
I
at
was
the
like,
beginning of that game.
there's one that has all of them, so let's take that one.
There you go.
Donkey Kong Country. And then what's the third game? Probably Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Which game has the best soundtrack?
Ooh. A lot of the games that I played had really good soundtracks. But the one that's like in my brain the most will be Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking you're gonna say Simple and Clean. Come on, Simple and Clean.
Yeah, I
Simple
was
and Clean.
like,
Let's
Simple
go.
and
Let's go.
Clean, the amount of times I would listen to that as like a preteen going into
And
teenage
cried to
years.
it.
And
you're like,
cried,
"Oh, this
like,
is so perfect.
Sometimes I listen to it while I'm walking my dog. Like I can't.
Such a beautiful song.
It's so good.
And where can people find your content, and what have you got coming up on your channel?
Yeah.
You can
for
take
sure.
as long as you need with this one, by the way.
Okay, so people can find me obviously on Twitch under Codergirlchan. I'm usually there Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Times vary sometimes because dog life. But Thursdays are usually my coding streams. So if you want to pop in for some coding stuff, Thursdays are the days, and then the other days I just play a variety of games, whatever I feel like. And then I've been really active on TikTok lately. So if you want to pop into my
Heck
TikTok,
yeah.
I've been doing a lot of just like putting my I've been getting into video editing a lot and actually putting like clips together to put on there. I have a couple that are just like really interesting username or people encounters that I get. So that's interesting. Yeah, you should see the last one. It was very
I'll
interesting.
be on your TikTok shortly.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of trends and around like Kingdom Hearts and Dead by Daylight and Zelda and Nintendo and stuff like that. So those are like the main ones that I've been on lately. The plan in the stream is just, again, I want to get more coding streams in there, so I might add an extra day where I'm just coding and people can ask me questions and we could just have like a chill coffee and chat and stream kind of deal. And yeah, just a bunch of that. I'm actually trying to get more coders in, so I'd love to do more pair coding stuff. So I can get more people in the industry who had different like perspectives or had to deal with stuff like accessibility. I know a lot of people are really into accessibility and stuff. So like what it's
huge.
like to add more accessibility into websites and why is it a requirement and things like that, like thinking about different perspectives and things like that. So I'd love to do more of maybe more of a podcast kind of deal where I just have people come in and share their experiences in tech.
Amazing.
Yeah,
You got away
and,
from it.
Yeah.
Gotta go back to your dream stream guest. Who is it?
Oh,
I was actually going to say, have you got an answer to that? Because alternatively, do you still have any idea who your dream stream guest will be?
yeah. Okay. So Utada, who does Simple and Clean, I'd love her.
Hell yeah, that's great. That's
Be like, how
absolutely
did you shape
fantastic.
my childhood with one song? Thank you.
And just to mention, my lovely co-host Chad, what have you got coming up on your channel, and where can people find your content?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to follow me on Twitch, it's actually a joint Twitch with me and my boyfriend. Is Luna LeCat. Weird name, I know, because half of me, I do the Luna side, he does the cat side. So you can find us there. We play a lot of Dead by Daylight. We're starting to get into Among Us now, so it's just funny that you brought up Among Us and things like that. So we do a lot of fun things over there, and we also I do a podcast called the First 30 Video Game Reviews Podcast, where we take the first 30 minutes of a game and find out whether or not we would continue the game at the end. So you can watch it on our YouTube channel at the Chestery, which is the group that I do it with, and then we do the podcast afterwards to kind of break down the game, the mechanics, like what we liked, disliked, and the very end we decide like would we continue playing after that 30 minutes. So you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, essentially. So that's pretty much mostly what we got going on.
Great. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Chad has just mentioned that Utada. I completely forgot about this as well. They just came out as non-binary. Well, it wasn't recently, but like a few months back or something. I can't remember.
Really? I didn't know
But yeah,
that.
congratulations to them. That's absolutely awesome. Now, Chad and Chanel, thank you so much for joining me. You've been amazing. I've had a lot of fun today, and I hope you have too.
Absolutely.
So much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
No
Thanks for having
problem.
me.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. Thank you for joining us, to everybody actually who's listening and watching this, for joining us on this episode of Gaming Podcast Live. If you want to check out the guests, their information will be in the description, or if you're watching this live right now, you can use !guests in chat to find all of their stuff. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with the next episode of Gaming Podcast Live.
Woo!
Yeah. And also every week you can find me live on my own channel at twitch.tv/Miabyte, or on the gaming channel every Wednesday or Thursday with Let's Go Gaming. That's where you can join myself and two super special guests as we play all manner of video games. As I mentioned, we're going to have Luke Boogie on again this Wednesday, I believe, to finish off House of Ashes. And then who knows what happens from there. Yeah.
Dead by Daylight.
Yes, Dead by Daylight. Yeah, totally. I'd love to get you all on for Let's Go Gaming. Literally anything can happen on that show. So yeah, I'm down. I'm down if you're all down. We'll figure something out.
Heck yeah.
Now, keep in mind you can follow Gaming Mag here on Twitch, or subscribe on our YouTube so you don't miss any of these amazing shows. And of course, podcasts can be listened back at any time on all major podcast platforms, everywhere you get your podcasts. And if you're listening there now, audio listeners, you can come on over to Twitch to watch us live at twitch.tv/Gaming Mag and hit that follow button. But in the meantime, do not forget to keep reading Gaming Magazine, and we will see you all very, very soon. Goodbye for now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.